You're listening to Sister Girl Moments Podcast. I'm your host, Lynette M Bradshaw, brought to you by RestoreHerWorth.com. Sister Girl Moments is for every woman. For the woman who has lost the ability to know who she really is through traumatic, life-changing experiences and unaddressed emotions. She has lost her inner voice through pain, shame, and silence. My goal is to share with you the spiritual, emotional, and mental truths gained to give truth for the heart, mind, and spirit. So if you're ready to own your truth, shift your mindset, heal your emotions, and take steps to uncover who you really are beyond the pain, this podcast is for you. So stay tuned and let's get started. You're listening to Sister Girl Moments Podcast, episode 101. Hey guys, welcome to Sister Girl Moments Podcast. I'm your host, Lynette M Bradshaw. I'm excited to be here to start season 2 with you guys. Thank you so much to all my faithful listeners. I do appreciate you so much. I also appreciate you guys that have reached out to me to see if I was coming back with new episodes. Thank you so much, so much for that. And to all my new listeners, welcome. I pray that you discover something new and exciting every week to continue to come back for more. And guys, I just want to thank you so much for being with me as I have grown in being a podcaster from January the 1st. When I pushed that button, I had no idea where it would go. Didn't even think it would be a season 2, but here I am. That's one of the things about walking in purpose. When you take a step, another door opens. So I'm excited to be able to share some powerful, empowering, and inspiring information with you. So let me introduce myself to those of you who have never heard of me before. I am Lynette M Bradshaw. I am an author, speaker, and coach. I work with women who, through traumatic experiences and unaddressed emotions, have lost the ability to know who they really are. I believe that every woman deserves to stand in her power and in her truth. So I become her tour guide, and we go on a journey through a 5-step process, doing a total mindset and emotional shift so that she can be the best version of herself that she desires to be. So guys, before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to let you know that I am excited about the release of my revised book, The Journey to Uncover the Real Me. When I wrote the book back in 2015, I didn't realize that title was also going to be the lead magnet, if you say, for my continued journey. But as I do this revised copy, I've decided to change the title. So be on the lookout for In Search of Me this fall. So guys, let's get into today's episode. Today, we are starting a 4-week series about our relationships with different things in our life. And today, we are talking about love, the relationship with it. I started thinking about the other day different things that I've struggled with in my life, and I started to think about my relationship with those things. So when we're thinking about love, I want you to ask yourself, what has been my relationship with love? When I hear the word love, what does that say to me? What emotions does it bring up inside of me? And then I want you to ask yourself, what is my definition of love? Because if we don't really know what love is, then we can identify abuse, we can identify toxic relationships, we can admit to ourselves that we thought emotional abuse was love. We can think that because a person stays around with us, even though they may treat us bad, that's love. So it's very important that we understand the truth of what love is. We can look in the Word of God to get the understanding of what He says love is. We can study in many different books about what we or that author believes that love is. But what I want you to do today is to get rooted in your own self. what you believe love to be. And what I want you to understand is that when we don't know what something is, we accept anyone else's definition of what that thing is. And sometimes it creates wounds and a damaged mindset within us, and we live by that until we begin to challenge it. So today, as we're talking about the relationship with love, I started to think back for myself because, I always want to be transparent with you, and I want to share with you what I've learned on my own journey about the different things that I share with you, because I believe that none of us have arrived where we don't have to deal with the things of the past. We may deal with them in a different way, but we are all on this journey of self-discovery of who we really are. So as I started thinking back about what my relationship with love is, I realized that I didn't know what love was until a few years ago, when I started my journey to healing, when God said that there was an end date to all of the pain that I had endured and its effect on my life. Before that, what I thought love was people telling you that they loved you, but they treated you as if you didn't exist. I thought what love was somebody saying I loved you, but you couldn't count on them. I thought what love was someone saying I loved you, but they never protected you. I also realized that because I felt I didn't have love in my life as a little girl, that I began to seek out love in other people. What I also learned is that when I decided to seek out love outside of myself, because I was wounded, I attracted wounded people. Now, they may have been one step or two ahead of me, and they had a better understanding or grasp of their own life. They were still wounded. And the reason I say that is because our wounds attract wounded people. So when we are searching for love, we're going to find people that are searching for love in their own way. They show up in a different way than we may show up, but they're still wounded in that area. So as I started to think about my relationship with love, I realized I accepted at a very young age that I didn't deserve love. I couldn't have deserved love if the people around me didn't know how to love me. I was too young to understand that what they were giving me did not make me feel good, but it had love attached to it. It had the love that they were capable of giving me. And because I lacked the understanding and the truth of what love is and was, I accepted that. I accepted it as truth. I accepted that as what I was meant to have. And so in my young mind, in my young heart, my young spirit and understanding, I believed that I didn't deserve love. I didn't deserve to be loved. So my relationship with love was chasing it because it was running away from me. My relationship with love was I had to decide what to do to get that love. Whatever was attached to it, I had to have it. Have you ever been in that place in your life where you're just wanting somebody to be honest and real with you? You're wanting and needing someone to show you something different, to open up that place inside of you that you shut down because you didn't believe you deserved love because of your history, because of what was taken from you. Now, my story may not be your story. Your story of love may be attached to abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental. When you think about love, you put up a wall. We all put up walls based on our definition of love. We let some people in, but mostly we shut ourselves out. We put up these different walls and we put on these different masks so that no one sees that we still want to be loved. But we've learned how to exist in this thing we call life because somewhere within us, we've accepted that this is what love is. And if there's even something greater than that image of it, we don't deserve it. Now, am I by myself on this? Am I standing out on an island by myself? Or do we all have to re-examine our relationship with love? Because until we are willing to challenge what we know love to be, and if we are wounded in those areas that love or the illusion of love cause, until we're ready to challenge that definition, we'll remain wounded in that area of our life. We'll continue to have a dysfunctional relationship with love. We'll continue to identify what's not love as love. And whatever emotions that it brings up, we'll accept it. But when you become brave enough to challenge what you have known as love and begin to explore the truth of what it is, then you open yourself up to the possibility of healing. You open yourself up to the possibility of growing. You open yourself up to the possibility of blossoming. Because one thing that I do know is that love is powerful, that love is amazing, that love makes you feel as if you can conquer the world. Even though your knees may be buckling and your legs may be shaking, you feel like you can conquer anything. Those places inside of you that lack confidence and lack self-worth, when you understand and receive what love really is, it fills up those places. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my definition of love? And what is that based on? Then I want you to ask yourself, how does that serve me? How does that make me feel? How does that show up in my life? Are you bold enough to challenge it? Or do you want to continue to live wounded and search for love in other people, toxic people to you? Maybe they are great, amazing people, but to you, because you are damaged in this area of your life, they are toxic to you. Love allows your eyes to be open. Love allows your ears to be open. You know those red flags that we normally ignore or make excuses for because we just want to be loved? Love allows us to hear and see what we have ignored because we have accepted that we're worthy of love. We're deserving of love. We've challenged our definition of love and the definition that other people gave us as love. So today we're talking about our relationship with love. As God began to fill all my empty places with His love, a true love, an unexplainable love, those places inside of me began to blossom. How I saw and see myself began to change. My perspective about me and what I deserved changed. I began to set boundaries for myself the more I learned and embraced and accepted what love really is. One of the other things that love has done for me is allowed me and taught me how to forgive those who gave me their version of love, even when I gave them permission to do so. Forgiveness starts in the heart. Love starts in the heart. And the more we choose to challenge the definition of love that we've lived with that has not been truth for us, the more we can move into that space of forgiveness. Because love shows us that forgiving others is showing self-love to ourselves. Are you willing to challenge the definition of love that you've been living by? Not just the love from other people, but the love you give to yourself. Because you see, that's what this is really about. Challenging what we have stood on as love. Because that definition is what we've given ourselves as love? I want you to do some reflecting. And I always say that reflection is not about beating yourself up. It's not about being so judgmental towards yourself that you can't move forward. But it's about coming to that place where you desire to own your truth, the good and the bad of it. I want you to get you a journal, and I want you to get you a pen. I want you to find a quiet space. I want you to sit in silence for a moment. No music, no television, no distractions. And write this question: what is my relationship with love? Allow yourself to sit with that. And whatever comes to your mind, whatever rises up in your emotions, I want you to write it down. Don't try and be grammatically correct. Don't think about who did it, who caused your definition of love, but be true to you. What is my relationship with love? Whether it's good, it's flawed, it's cloudy, it's painful, write it down. Because see, when we write things down that are going on in our mind and our spirit, our soul, our heart and emotions, then we come face to face with our reality. And you know, that is my goal here. One of my goals here on Sister Girl Moments is to give you information and share with you my journey so that you can be true to you, that you can own your truth, that you can be real with you, so that you can heal, so that you can stand in your power, so that you can stand in your truth, so that you can own your portion of what has happened in your life and make it work for you. Now, when I said earlier that some of the people who came into my life and gave me their version of what love is, I gave them permission. So when we're taking ownership of what we accepted as love, that means that because we were wounded, because we were angry, because we were abused, because we were abandoned, and we were hungry for love, we allow people into our lives. We allow people into our lives that stay beyond the time they should have been there, just so we could feel some sense of love. But as we are doing this process, we're shaking things up. We're beginning a new healthy relationship with what love is. And therefore, we can give it to ourselves confidently, boldly. We can set boundaries in our life for who is allowed to come across that boundary line and what we accept from them. We are in control of our boundaries. But if we lack the understanding and the acceptance of what love is, we don't have boundaries. We accept whoever wants to come across that line because we are hoping that that person will be the one to really show us what love is. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 101. And today we're talking about love, the relationship with it. What I want you to take from this episode is this. Ask yourself, what is my definition of love? And where did it start? Be honest with yourself. Be honest in your reflecting time without overjudging yourself or beating yourself up. And I want to say this, that sometimes when we're reflecting, even in our thoughts of dealing with these things, we want to protect those people that gave us this definition of love. But in this reflecting time, I want you to know that this is all about you right now. This is about your healing. This is about your breakthrough. This is about you shaking up the foundation that you've stood on, lived in, had a thought process about it, accepted things for it. I want you to know that it's all about you right now. You getting clear, you healing. And then I want you to ask yourself, well, what's my history with love? What has love shown me? When you ask yourself, what is my definition of love? Then, of course, you have to ask yourself, then what's my history of love? What has love shown me? That illusion of it, my definition of it. What has it shown me? And how does it show up in my life? And then what I want you to do is ask yourself, and in prayer, how do I begin to shift my understanding of love and accept what love really is first for myself? I know this is not easy, but I do know that it's possible, because we cannot heal what we will not admit and what we won't challenge. And I know that you are built for this. So guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Sister Girl Moments podcast. Until next time, I want you to remember this. Declare it daily that I will own my truth, I will believe in myself, and I will be me boldly, because it's more than enough. So guys, I'll talk to you on the next episode. Please remember to download, share, and leave your comments on the show notes page. I'll have all this information of how you can connect with me, things that we discussed here on this episode. So guys, I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you soon. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Sister Girl Moments podcast. You can connect with me online at Facebook, Lynette M Bradshaw, and also join us in the Sister Girl Moments podcast group. Reach out to me at my website at www.restoreherworth.com.